The CDC has laid out its guidelines for a safe return to school. Now local districts decide what they're going to implement. We'll hear from Carthage officials about their proposed approach. And Southeast Kansas health officials say the numbers show vaccinations work, but it's another number that's delaying an end to the pandemic.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Area schools are facing some tough decisions about how to respond to CDC guidance for students returning to the classroom. This is KOAM News at 6. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with the Carthage School District to learn about their approach.
With vaccines readily available for anyone 12 and over, the CDC is relaxing its COVID-19 guidelines. Recently, the Public Health Agency announced that fully vaccinated students and teachers can return to the classroom this fall, mask-free. For those unvaccinated,
well, I think CDC and local health departments recommend that the unvaccinated students and teachers continue to wear a mask.
Local school districts like Carthage schools are using this new guidance to promote health in their community.
We will promote vaccinations. We'll tell our staff, our students, our parents, community members, if you are vaccinated, you will not be quarantined, and that's the bottom line.
As for how things will be different in the fall,
they do not have to wear their mask if they're vaccinated, and they will not be quarantined if they're vaccinated.
For unvaccinated students, the district won't require masks, but if they don't wear a mask and come into contact with someone testing positive, they will be quarantined. Should case numbers increase, this plan could change. Now,
if something changes in our society, in our local area, that all of a sudden a variant or another variant is spreading to where kids are positive, our staff positive, we might have to make some changes to our plan.
Which is why the district plans to work closely with the health department to stay on top of cases.
Really what matters the most for us is what's happening in our community.
If we have quarantined people out in the county, then we quarantine them and provide information to the schools about who we have under quarantine or isolation at a given time.
It's still a bit early to know exactly how different schools will operate by August, but Carthage Schools says they plan on following the numbers. In Carthage, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Carthage students will return to school on August 23rd. The Joplin and Jasper County Health Departments are reporting new COVID-19 deaths. In Jasper County, 3 more people have died. They were all men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. That brings the county's total to 169. In Joplin, a 64-year-old woman died with COVID-19. The total number of COVID-19 deaths in Joplin proper now stands at 138. At a news conference today, Southeast Kansas health officials were talking numbers. Nationwide, 99% of all COVID-19 related deaths are among those who were not vaccinated or weren't previously infected. 80 to 90% of new cases are among people who have not been vaccinated or were never infected. Health professionals say those numbers point to the effectiveness of the available vaccines, but only 49% of Crawford County residents have been vaccinated. It's that number that health officials in our area are focused on as the number of cases continues to rise.
If we are going to see breakthrough cases where someone's fully vaccinated and still gets COVID, that is not a vaccine failure. If they stay out of the hospital, that's a vaccine success story. And so I think that's what we need to reiterate to people is that just because
As of yesterday, 133 people were in isolation at Pittsburgh's Via Christi Hospital. Doug Hetty, a little bit warmer out there today.
Yeah, 70s for highs for us yesterday and then also on Sunday. But today, way back into the mid to upper 80s across the region. We've had pretty much clear skies. Nothing has been going on here all day long, and it looks like a pretty quiet evening. We do have a weak little wave out across the southwestern parts of the U.S., and that's going to be our next storm system that will start to affect us by the time we head into Thursday, Friday, and really kind of sticking around into the weekend. Until then, we look okay. We're sitting mid to upper 80s. The humidity, it's been creeping up. It's not awful, but we have heat indices into low to mid 90s on the Kansas side. As we go through the evening hours, we'll slide back through the 80s, 70s. I think most of us will dip back to about 68 to 70 degrees for an overnight low for us tonight. Of course, we're going to look at those rain chances coming up here in just a bit.
See you then. A new hardware store and jobs are coming to Frontenac, Kansas. The Harbor Freight Tools chain says it expects to open a store at 1007 North Highway 69 late this summer, but has not given an official date. Construction is underway. The company says the store will bring 25 to 30 new jobs. Harbor Freight currently has more than 2,100 stores nationwide. One of 2 people injured when a motorcycle hit a deer in southwest Missouri has died of her injuries. That crash happened Sunday evening on Gum Road north of Reeds, Missouri. Authorities say a passenger on the motorcycle, 26-year-old Taylor Bass of Reeds, has died. At last report, the motorcycle driver, 29-year-old Isaac Freeland of Reeds, was in serious condition. Still ahead, the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce is calling on businesses to pledge to embrace diversity, and some groups are already on board. And a northeastern Missouri woman already convicted of murder is now charged with another. We're going to look at the evidence the prosecutors are using and why they say the first investigation was botched. A number of Joplin area businesses say they're committed to creating a more diverse, welcoming, and inclusive community. And they were recognized at a news conference today. The Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce and its Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Work Group today formally announced the launch of their Joplin Leadership Pledge. But dozens of companies and groups have already signed that pledge. The EDI group says the goal is to ensure that companies and individuals create cultures that welcome and support everyone.
It makes me feel good about myself. This is the type of stuff that I wanted to do in life, and I want to accomplish these type of things, and to be a part of a group that they're already working towards them. That's it makes me feel accomplished. Makes me feel like I'm a part of something good for the future.
To learn more or to sign the pledge, visit choosejoplin.com/pledge. Lincoln County, Missouri's prosecutor tonight is going for the death penalty against Pam Hupp for a new murder charge. Hupp was convicted in a 2016 murder in O'Fallon, Missouri. Well, now prosecutors say new evidence connects her to another murder a decade ago. Russell Kinsall has more.
I've constantly said that they did a very poor investigation. In fact, I've compared them to the Three Stooges.
Prosecuting attorney Mike Wood said the previous prosecutor and detectives never once considered Pam Hupp as a suspect.
This was one of the poorest examples of investigative work that I, as well as my team, have ever encountered, driven largely by ego, working toward an agenda rather than truth.
News 4 obtained these crime scene photos that appear to show socks that were placed over a hand, then used to transfer blood to other parts of the house. Notice on the socks, you don't see foot or toe imprints. Wood says the crime scene was staged to make it look like a crime of rage. Faria was stabbed 55 times. Pam Hupp was the last person to see Betsy Faria. She had convinced Faria to make her the beneficiary on a $150,000 life insurance policy just 4 days before the killing, and phone records showed Hupp's phone in the area at the time of the crime. Husband Russ Faria was convicted of killing his wife, but in a second trial was exonerated, and then Lincoln County paid him $2 million to settle a lawsuit. Wood is launching an investigation into how the case was previously handled.
During the course of my investigation into Betsy Faria's death, I came across information that could potentially lead to criminal prosecution.
Wood says 3 sources have told him witnesses were asked to lie on the stand, and he said the previous sheriff sought to have the evidence destroyed. Hupp is currently serving a life sentence in prison. She was convicted of killing Louis Gumpenberger and trying to blame someone else in an attempt to deflect attention after the Faria case had been reopened.
I was always hopeful, but I wasn't always sure that I'd see the day until Mike Woods called me and told me that this was going to happen.
Pam Hupp has repeatedly denied having any involvement in Betsy Faria's murder. Later, this 11-year-old girl wants to be a lifesaver. We're going to learn more about the camp that's teaching her the skills to potentially be someone's hero.
Plus, thunderstorm chances increasing a bit as we head into the next few days. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a much warmer day for us today. Temperatures have been slowly increasing over the past 24 hours after we saw some pretty good temps on Sunday into Monday. We were in the 70s yesterday and then bounced back into the 80s for highs today. 86 is where we sit in Carthage, 84 Monette, Cassville at 85. Grove is at 87, 85 in Pittsburgh, and then a little bit hotter. You get upper 80s to near 90 once you get out across southeastern Kansas. Dew points also have been coming up. This measures our moisture. You can see mid 60s on the Missouri side, then near 70, if not lower 70s once you get into southeastern Kansas. So kind of puts us in that sticky to muggy range, and that's going to pop up as we go through the next few days. So our heat indices, it feels like 80s in Missouri, Arkansas, feels like 90s, even mid 90s once you get out into our farther western counties in southeastern Kansas. Looks pretty good though. We have clear skies right now. Currently outside, we sit at 86. South winds at about 10. Humidity relative at 48%. Let's look through the evening hours. We're going to slide back through the 80s, 70s. Eventually, we'll bottom out at about 68, 69 degrees later on tonight. But nothing's going on. We have clear skies across the entire four-state area. Really all of Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas look pretty good. We do have a weak little wave that is organizing out across southwestern parts of the U.S. That wave will give us chances for rain by the time we head into late Thursday, Thursday night, and Friday. Until then, we look okay. So tonight's fine, 68 to about 70. Southerly winds continue tomorrow. In fact, they pick up a little bit, kind of breezy at times. South winds at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Temperatures a little bit hotter for us tomorrow. We'll start at 68, 86 by noon, high temp at 91, south winds at about 10 to 15. Tomorrow night, we'll get a few clouds in here, but we'll stay on the dry side. Then on Thursday, I still think most of the day is going to be dry, but we'll start to get some thunderstorms in our northwestern counties, so Yates Center out towards Sedan, 4 or 5 p.m., and then these will increase through the evening hours. So here's 10 p.m., scattered thunderstorms increasing across the region. Some of these could be strong, may even get some low-grade severe thunderstorms, but we could pick up some very heavy amounts of rain. So this big batch rotates through. So here's Friday morning. Big batch of rain continues to work through, and then we'll get a break Friday afternoon. But as we go toward the weekend, this trend continues. More thunderstorms Friday night into Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, we get additional pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Sunday afternoon, we get additional pop-up showers and thunderstorms. So this trend's going to stick around all the way into next week. So rainfall really from Thursday until Saturday or Sunday. A lot of areas could pick up 1, 2, 3, maybe isolated 4-inch amounts. So something we want to watch just because the ground's still fairly saturated from all the rain that we had just a couple weeks ago. All right, dry this evening, 91 tomorrow. 91 Thursday, scattered thunderstorms. These are mainly going to be evening and overnight, so most of Thursday's dry. Scattered morning storms Friday, more popping up in the afternoon. Then that trend continues into the weekend, highs mainly into the 80s.
We're not accustomed to talking about so much rain in July in the four states.
Yeah, it's been a fairly wet summer.
Yes, it has. Thanks, Doug. Some campers in Joplin are learning how to be lifeguards, and KOAM photojournalist Ty Park shows us for one camper, it's a family tradition.
Because that was my mom's first job, and I really like lifeguarding and swimming, and I would love to learn how to safely save someone out of the water.
Just like a foot in the door of how to be trained as a lifeguard, so that way when they become old enough, when they're 15, if they want to actually be a lifeguard, then they kind of already know a lot of this stuff.
So get your arms more underneath. He doesn't have his whistle off. Alright, I'm good job. Alright, you guys will swim. You don't have to take all the way.
To learn how to do better swimming and learn stuff like that, because I go to the lake a lot, so I can save someone if they're drowning or something like that. It'll make me feel better because I'm scared that I'm not going to accomplish being a lifeguard, because it's a while, it's in about 5 years, so it's a long ways away, but it's also exciting knowing that I could accomplish that.
You can accomplish a lot of things when you put your mind to it. Camp runs through the rest of the week. Registration is $100, and campers must, of course, be strong swimmers. Coming up in sports, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game is tonight in Denver. Plus, a former Pittsburgh High School basketball standout talks about his unique basketball journey after high school. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
The Joplin Outlaws are off to a bit of a slow start to the second half of the season. The Outlaws are 1-3 since the All-Star break, including a 4-0 shutout loss to the Nevada Griffins last night. Now tonight, Joplin faces Nevada again, this time at their place. That one starts at 7 o'clock. We'll have the latest from the game right here tonight at 10. Kansas City Royals catcher Salvador Perez made a little history in the MLB Home Run Derby last night. Now, Perez did not win it, but he did hit 28 home runs in the first round. It's the most homers for a catcher in the history of the Home Run Derby. That was a good night for Salvi, but in the end, it was the Mets' Pete Alonso taking the title. Alonso hit 74 total home runs last night, capturing his second straight Home Run Derby championship.
I'm a power hitter, and for me, I think I'm the best power hitter on the planet. And being able to showcase that and really put on a fun display for fans, I just think that it's truly a dream come true for me to be able to do it back to back. This is really special for me and really, really cool.
The MLB All-Star Game is tonight in Denver. Salvador Perez will start at catcher for the American League All-Stars, while Nolan Arenado starts at third for the National League, representing the St. Louis Cardinals. That game gets started in just a few minutes on Fox 14. Former Pittsburgh High School basketball standout Marquis English is headed to Butler Community College. English played last year at Division I Northern Colorado. His basketball journey has had multiple stops since graduating from Pittsburgh High in 2018. He signed a link year prep out of high school, reclassifying to 2019. After that, he made his first stop at Butler before transferring to Division I Northern Colorado to play last year. English says he doesn't know what his future holds after Butler, with 3 years of eligibility remaining, but he's happy to know he gets to keep playing.
That home environment, being able to play basketball and do what I love to do, I just think it was the best move for me to go back to Butler. I was there for a year previously, and we went to the conference championship, and just to go back there and play basketball with Coach Fisher and the guys, and I think it'll be a lot of fun.
English was the 5A Player of the Year his senior season in 2018 for Pittsburgh. We'll have our full story with English and his basketball journey after high school tonight at 10. That's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Lance Corporal Aaron Ragan served in the U.S. Marine Corps, his hometown, Joplin. And we are proud to salute Lance Corporal Aaron Ragan, tonight's four-state hero. Jordan Abbey joins us now with a look at what's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 after the MLB All-Star Game.
Tonight, the Treasury Department is expected to begin making monthly payments to families with children. Going to learn when. Also, President Biden is slamming the enactment of new voting laws in Republican-led states. And more worries about inflation after new economic numbers are released today. That, of course, much more coming away tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 after the MLB All-Star Game.
Jordan, thanks. But warmer for us today, Doug.
Yeah, back into the upper 80s for highs. So about 10 degrees warmer than what we did see yesterday. And it looks like as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow, we should go into lower 90s. Lower 90s the next few days, but pretty good chances for thunderstorms starting Thursday night.
Final sports note.
Marquis English really does have a unique story after high school. He's been out of high school 3 years playing basketball, but because of COVID and because he reclassified, he still has 3 years left, only used 1 year of eligibility. Cool. We'll have that story tonight at 10.
Thanks, guys, and thank you for joining us. We will see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.